Trinidad and Tobago, June 2025. In what is being described as one of the most widespread and disruptive flooding events in recent memory, Trinidad and Tobago has been battered by days of torrential rainfall, triggering flash floods, landslides, infrastructural collapse, and widespread displacement. The government has declared a state of heightened alert as emergency services scramble to respond to the escalating crisis. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, TTMS, issued an orange-level riverine flood alert, warning of sustained torrential rains and high winds. The alert, extended multiple times, signaled the severity of the weather system that had settled over the Twin Island nation. Meteorologists attributed the deluge to a slow-moving tropical wave interacting with the Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, a weather phenomenon notorious for producing intense rainfall in the Caribbean. Rainfall began over the weekend and intensified by Tuesday night, continuing into Wednesday and Thursday. By midday Thursday, flooding had been reported in nearly every region of Trinidad, from the northern hills to the southern plains. The soil, already saturated from previous rainfall, could no longer absorb the water, resulting in rapid surface runoff and riverine overflow. Communities underwater, the human toll. Entire communities were submerged. In Rio Claro, residents waded through waist-deep water to salvage belongings. In St. Helena, a group of men was seen carrying equipment through floodwaters to assist neighbors. In Penal, the Southwest Regional Health Authority was forced to close the Rock Road Health Center due to rising waters. The Ministry of Education announced the closure of 16 early childhood care and education (ECC) centers, 38 primary schools, and 13 secondary schools across the country. Students preparing for critical exams were relocated or provided with emergency transportation, including military troop carriers and boats, to ensure access to examination centers. The floods wreaked havoc on infrastructure. Two major roadways collapsed, one in Pool Village, Rio Claro, and another in the heights of Aripo, Arima. Landslides were reported along the North Coast Road, cutting off access to several communities. In Diego Martin and Sangre Grande, 18 reports of fallen trees blocked roads and damaged property. Downtown Port of Spain was inundated. Charles Street, Scott Butch Street, Sackville Street, and Wrightson Road were submerged, causing massive traffic gridlock and commuter chaos. In central Trinidad, areas such as Cuva, Charlieville, and Coroni experienced street flooding, while in the east, Malabar and Arima were brought to a standstill. Power outages were widespread. The Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, TNTC, reported damage to transformers and substations, particularly in flood-prone areas. Telecommunications were also disrupted, with fiber optic cables damaged by landslides and water ingress. The agricultural sector suffered a devastating blow. Minister of Agriculture Saddam Hossein confirmed that farmers across the country had lost crops and livestock due to overland flooding. In Coroni and Tabaquite, entire fields of cassava, sweet potatoes, and vegetables were submerged. Livestock farmers in Paparo and Las Lomas reported drowned animals and destroyed feed supplies. The Ministry of Agriculture is currently assessing the damage and considering compensation packages for affected farmers. Hossein emphasized the need for long-term flood mitigation strategies, including improved drainage and riverbank reinforcement. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin led the government's emergency response. She highlighted the proactive steps taken since May 13th, when the flood mitigation program was launched. Drain clearing and embankment works were conducted from May 14th to 19th, which she credited for reducing the extent of structural damage. Despite these efforts, the scale of the flooding overwhelmed existing infrastructure. Emergency shelters were opened in schools and community centers. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, ODPM, coordinated relief efforts, distributing food, water, and hygiene kits to displaced families. The Trinidad and Tobago Regiment was deployed to assist with evacuations and logistics. Boats were used to reach stranded residents in areas like Sangre Grande and Tunapuna/Piarco. Municipal police provided escorts for students and vulnerable individuals. Tobago's ordeal, landslides, and road closures. While Trinidad bore the brunt of the flooding, Tobago was not spared. The Milford Road was partially submerged, and a minor landslip on Bad Rock Road disrupted traffic. The Tobago Emergency Management Agency, TEMA, closed schools and issued advisories for residents to avoid unnecessary travel. Flying debris, including galvanized roofing sheets, posed additional hazards. On Baku Road, motorists were forced to stop as emergency crews cleared the roadway of wind-blown materials. The flooding crisis has sparked political debate. Minister Amin urged local government councillors from both the United National Congress, UNC, and the People's National Movement, PNM, to set aside partisan differences and focus on assisting affected communities. She emphasized that flood mitigation is a national responsibility, not a political exercise. Critics accused the previous administration of neglecting drainage infrastructure, while the current government defended its early interventions. Amin pointed to faster drainage in some areas as evidence of the effectiveness of recent works. Experts warned that the frequency and intensity of such flooding events are likely to increase due to climate change. Rising sea surface temperatures fuel heavier rainfall, while urbanization and deforestation reduce the land's ability to absorb water. Environmentalists are calling for a comprehensive national flood resilience strategy. This includes reforestation, sustainable urban planning, and investment in green infrastructure such as permeable pavements and rain gardens. Amid the devastation, stories of resilience and solidarity emerged. In Brazil Village, neighbors formed human chains to rescue elderly residents. In Arima, a local youth group distributed hot meals to stranded commuters. Social media platforms like WhatsApp and Facebook were used to coordinate relief efforts and share real-time updates. Volunteers from NGOs and faith-based organizations joined the response, offering shelter, clothing, and emotional support. Mental health professionals were dispatched to shelters to assist those traumatized by the disaster. As floodwaters begin to recede, the focus shifts to recovery. Damage assessments are underway, and the government has pledged financial assistance for rebuilding homes and businesses. The Ministry of Works and Transport is prioritizing the repair of collapsed roads and damaged bridges. The Ministry of Education is working to reopen schools and ensure that students can resume their studies. Special provisions are being made for those who missed exams due to the flooding. The ODPM has announced plans to review and strengthen the National Disaster Preparedness Framework. This includes upgrading early warning systems, increasing community awareness, and enhancing coordination among agencies. The floods that swept across Trinidad and Tobago in June 2025 will be remembered not only for their destruction, but also for the resilience of the people. As the nation begins the long road to recovery, the lessons learned from this disaster may pave the way for a more prepared and united future. If you'd like this adapted into a documentary script, infographic, or even a fictional short story inspired by real events, I'd be thrilled to help shape it. Just say the word. Experts warn that the frequency and intensity of such flooding events are likely to increase due to climate change. Rising sea surface temperatures fuel heavier rainfall, while urbanization and deforestation reduce the land's ability to absorb water. Environmentalists are calling for a comprehensive national flood resilience strategy. This includes reforestation, sustainable urban planning, and investment in green infrastructure such as permeable pavements and rain gardens. Amid the devastation, stories of resilience and solidarity emerged. In Brazil Village, neighbors formed human chains to rescue elderly residents. In Arima, A local youth group distributed hot meals to stranded commuters. Social media platforms like WhatsApp and Facebook were used to coordinate relief efforts and share real-time updates. Volunteers from NGOs and faith-based organizations joined the response, offering shelter, clothing, and emotional support. Mental health professionals were dispatched to shelters to assist those traumatized by the disaster.